M&A Advisor is pleased now to be joined by Ceasar Anquillare, the chairman and founder of Winchester Capital, one of the most prestigious firms to advise British, European, and American companies. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Claudia, for your great invitation to join. It's a pleasure to be here.
Your company has such a fabulous reputation worldwide. Can you tell us a little bit about the company?
Yes, I was the founder of the company together with the late Honorable Averell Harriman, who served America as America's ambassador to Britain during the war, and later his wife Pamela Harriman, who also served America as U.S. ambassador to France. So I think that part of the strength of our company lies in our transatlantic roots, which are true roots. That are both diplomatic and commercial.
Let's talk about that then. Let's talk about the transatlantic activity right now and the market. What are you seeing in the market right now?
I think that we're experiencing one of the most buoyant markets in history because we've had an unprecedented year in 2014 in terms of the number of transactions. The volume continues to rise. There is plentiful private equity and capital in world markets and debt available, and the combination of all of those wonderful ingredients bake a marvelous cake.
And what factors do you really think will impact the market through the rest of 2015?
I think that between Britain and America, we will always have an invincible alliance, also with our NATO countries and the people that are in them, because the cross-section and cross-dependencies financially, globally, really is one global market. As we look at the individualities and the things that could affect us, I think the British election is coming up, as everybody knows, in May. I personally feel that David Cameron is a brilliant leader and that he will hang on. I think that as far as Europe goes, that is really going to be the general question mark. Will Britain remain inside the European Union? Traditionally, Britain is a country with an unwritten constitution. Going into a federation which has a constitution, how it all fits together, and the self-governance which is important to each country, especially in a country which has always been characterized in its history by a monarchy. How the sovereign jurisdictions will be maintained and how Britain will remain sovereign going forward, I think is very important to the British people.
Let's talk about the regulatory aspect for a while. What do you see as some of the problems going both ways, and what kind of an impact will we be seeing on M&A activity with regard to regulations?
I think there's a great degree of confidence right now because there is uniformity in regulations. In the Cadbury transaction that Jane spoke about earlier, that was one of the transforming events in law, where the Cadbury rules and then later Sarbanes-Oxley was adopted in the US. I think that what's happened is on both sides of the Atlantic, we have a burden of disclosure on public companies, which is inviting more investment. I think that there has also been a number of cases decided where the burden is accentuated, and people realize that when they take money from the public and the money is entrusted to them, that they are trustees and investors and shareholders. And I think that what we will see is an increasing number of smaller companies, because the market between the US and Britain is quite large. If you add all of the capital markets together, it's about 43 trillion for the London Stock Exchange and all the American exchanges combined. Of that, since 2000, approximately 1 trillion in transaction value has taken place, which is enormous. And that has abided over the past 15 years. We've gone through US elections, we've gone through British elections, but nothing has abated or in any way affected the underlying economic confidence in both markets. And that's why I'm fairly optimistic it will continue very strongly.
Speaking globally, where do you see opportunities moving forward?
On a global basis? I think that people often looked at the BRIC countries. I remember speaking at Yale not too long ago, we actually did an analysis of the growth in the BRIC countries. Growth in places like China has actually slowed. And the resilience and all of the funds that were originally raised for the growth countries, Brazil in particular, have fewer things on the hunt, I believe, at the moment, because of the fact that many of these countries have developed their own independent capital markets, and they've matured rather quickly. So I think that there is going to be a fundamental shift. For example, 2 years ago, the amount of capital that was raised for the BRIC countries, and particularly Asia, was a little over 58 billion. That was 3 billion more than all the capital that was raised for new funds for Europe. So I think that the appetite is there. I think that people are still looking in those markets, but the opportunities for capital gain in the developing countries that existed 5-10 years ago are not vanishing, but let's say less plentiful.
So you have to be more resourceful and really look for these great deals and be good at your game.
I think that it's really important for a boutique like ours, which prides itself on finding the right opportunities on non-auction bases. Many of our acquisitions have been just direct acquisitions for our clients. You have to have the right research, and you have to be able to turn over all the stones to make sure that you are really finding a golden opportunity, because there's a lot of competition out there. As we know, just in terms of the trillions of cash that has not yet been invested in private equity, people are chasing a lot of deals. So there is a real advantage to finding the right one and negotiating it positively for your client and enhancing your client's value, which should be the mission of every investment bank, large or small.
And I know Winchester Capital prides itself on just that. And so how would you say you really do then stand out from the other companies in that regard?
I think we are distinguished by our 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars of Winchester Capital are and will always be our integrity, our heritage, our insight, and our perseverance. Anyone who joins our firm or works with our firm knows that that is our mantra and that is our oath. And it's because of those 4 pillars over the last 29 years, we've built a very strong company that I'm very proud of, and certainly has worked with the larger investment banks, whether it be UBS, Morgan Stanley. We have excellent relationships with our big brothers and have co-advised with them. So we enjoy our work tremendously. The one thing that is important also in our organization that distinguishes us is our enthusiasm. Our team in London, our team in the US are very dedicated and love their work. Their work is part of their life. And all of us enjoy working together.
It sounds like it, and your success says it all. Ceasar, thank you so much for joining us today on the M&A Advisor. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.